Alright, today we're going to be stringing a mid pocket in the new Maverik Havok, just like I have here. Now this one is strung with Gemlax Prime Mesh, so it might be a little bit different than ECD Hero 2.0 or String King 4S or 3S. Just taking that with a grain of salt there. But it turns out this pattern works really well with Gemlax Prime Mesh. So this one has a really awesome channel, as you can see. It's going to be super accurate. I'm going to throw ropes across the field with this guy. Great definition, so let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. Alright, so before we begin the tutorial, you're going to need to do a 9-diamond top string. Just as you can see I've done here, you're going to 9-diamond top string on the second hole of the head. So once again, 9-diamond top string on the second hole of the head. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start on the actual sidewall pattern of the head. So like always, I'm going to use this Hawaiian blue string so that way you can see clearly. Now I'm going to start my sidewall on the third hole of the head, so right here. Put my string through that third hole. Go up into that first available mesh loop. Back into that same sidewall hole, and up into that same mesh loop. So we're just doing a standard loop start. Alright, so when we have that nice and tight, we're going to skip the next sidewall hole and then do a KSI, so down to the top of the next mesh loop, into the plastic from the outside, making sure to skip one sidewall hole. We're going to leave a small loop there. You're going to take your string, go through the back of that loop and through. And then we're going to take our fingertips and then pull the slack from the inside here, just right here, so that we're tightening this piece of string here, getting that slack or that tension through. And then we want to get that so it's nice and tight. Take your fingertips, pinch the sidewall string so that the knot is resting on the top of the bottom rail, and then pinch the sidewall string together and then pull straight down. Should give you a nice knot right there. Take your leading in string, go from the bottom up of that same mesh loop, and then there we have our KSI. So now we're going to skip one more sidewall hole and do the exact same thing again. So down to the top of the next mesh loop, into the plastic from the outside. We're going to leave a small loop here. Take your leading in string, go from the back and through. Pull your slack from the inside. Pinch it, and then pull straight down so it's nice and tight. And there we should have that knot resting on the bottom rail. Take that leading in string, go from the bottom and up, that same mesh loop once again. And then there we have our KSIs. That's going to give us our channel a little bit. We're going to do one more KSI without skipping, so down to the top of the next mesh loop. Into the plastic from the outside. Once again, leaving that small loop. Taking your string, going from the back and through of that loop. Pulling the slack from the inside. Pinching it and then pulling straight down. Take your leading in string and then going from the bottom up. And there we have our 3 KSIs, so that's going to give us our channel. Alright, so after those KSIs, we're going to start to create the actual pocket. So next up, we're going to do a stacked SI, so we're going to skip the next sidewall hole. And we're going to do a stacked SI, so down to the top of the next mesh loop. And then down to the top of the following one. There we go. You're going to take the middle of the mesh, pinch it, pull it up towards the scoop. Pull your leading in straight down so these mesh loops anchor to the plastic. We're going to go into the sidewall hole from the outside. We're going to come up and through the loop that we leave here. So as you can see, I'm going to pull that nice and tight. I'm going to take my leading in string, go from the bottom and up of that previous mesh loop, and then from the bottom and up of the first mesh loop. So that's what it should look like there. Still pinching the middle of the mesh and I'm pulling it up towards the scoop. I'm going to pull this upwards and then downwards, and you should see these mesh loops rest on top of each other. That's going to be your stacked SI. Now we're going to go ahead and finish out the pocket with 4 more KSIs. So we're going to go down to the top of the next mesh loop, going into the plastic from the outside. Exact same thing we did earlier, leaving a small loop, going from the back and through, pulling that slack from the inside, pinch it, and then pull straight down. Get it a little tighter than that. There we go. And then from the bobbin up. And then as we're pulling the tension out of the stacked SIs before the last bit, you're going to take your fingers, 3 or 4, from the inside of the pocket, as you can see, and then I'm just pulling it up towards the scoop. So we're creating a reverse tension spot. There we go. So these knots are working against each other. Okay, so we're going to do that 3 more times. So down to the top of the next mesh loop, into the plastic from the outside, going through the loop or through the back of that loop, pulling your slack from the inside of the head, pinching it, and then pull straight down, and then from the bobbin up. And then before we pull this final bit of tension out, take the middle of the mesh, there we go, and then pull them away from each other. Okay, and 2 more. So down to the top of the next mesh loop, going into the plastic from the outside, leaving a small loop, going from the back of that loop and through, pull the slack from the inside, pinch that sidewall string to the plastic, and then pull straight down. Let's see here. No, it's not resting correctly. Gotta get more slack out. If I had pliers, I'd be able to get all that slack through. But for the sake of the story, I'll leave it like that. I go from the bottom up. And then we're going to do that 1 more time. Okay, so after we have those 4 KSIs, we're ready to tie off the pocket. So we're going to skip the next sidewall hole, go into the plastic from the outside. We're going to leave a small loop here. Turning the stick over. We're going to have this next available mesh loop here. And we have our string on the inside, so we're going to take our string, go up and through that loop. So we just went up and through that loop from the inside. Take the middle of the mesh down here, pinch it, pull it towards the top of the scoop. Once again, we're going to pull the slack out. So we're going to go to the left, and then up, and then down. And then to completely tie it off, we're going to take our leading in string, go from the top and down of that same mesh loop, and then out and through the next sidewall hole from the inside. See here, whoops. There we go. Pulling all our tension through. And then you're going to go ahead and tie it off. There we go. Alright, and afterwards you should have this really nice looking mid pocket in your new Havok, just like I got here. So once again, it's going to have a really nice channel. Very nice, really nice and accurate. Good definition, so you don't have to worry about, you know, a really baggy pocket. So if you guys found this video helpful or enjoyed it, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching.